So we have enough to go ahead and get started, and if other people join in, that's great. Hopefully everybody got the minutes in the agenda. Does everybody have an opportunity to review the minutes? Actually, I forgot to hold on to a copy. Thanks.
I looked at them, it looks, I couldn't see any issues.
Would you like to make a motion to approve them?
I make a motion to approve, because I did look at them before.
Thank you, Rudy.
And I couldn't see any issues or
That's great.
corrections.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Robin. All right, do we have any issues, corrections, comments?
Looks good, I mean, you, looks like you followed the minutes meeting rules.
We try, right? We
Yeah.
try. All right, good. Well, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Great, all in favor, excellent. All right, so I'll just go right into just little updates on what I've been working on. The new homeowner mailing, finally, I got caught up with the help of an intern who sort of wandered through my office wanting to learn more about what happens here. She's a young woman who just graduated with an associate's degree as a paralegal. And so I was showing her the conveyance tax records and how that worked. And so then in exchange, she addressed my envelopes for me. It was very nice. So finally caught up on the new homeowner mailings. There were only 3 sales in March. So that's we're still kind of in this slow period. It'll be interesting to see if it picks up over the summer. That's usually a little busier. One thing that I did notice though is of those 4 sales, one was Quarry Ridge and one was Beebrook. So 2 of them were condos, and those still tend to be sort of hot commodities since we have so few in town. And one of them went for 600,000. So, you know, for a condo. So we're just seeing those prices continue to rise.
That sounds like Florida.
Right, I know. Interesting, just as a note, I've been following the multifamily regulations that have been going through the zoning process. And they made some additional changes at their meeting last week. Additional suggested changes. And so the new public hearing, I believe, is May 28th or something like that, at the end of May. So I'll let you know, but those new regulations, if they are passed, would allow the building of multifamily homes, which all of the condos that they count, right? And so even though those aren't necessarily technically affordable, like we've been talking about in our housing commission meetings, it's certainly a type of housing that is needed here in Washington, or people who lived here forever. One of those units was bought by people who lived in the area for decades. They're downsizing, seniors are
So
downsizing.
don't you think that'll be more of a trend coming up?
Well, I know there's a need. I think the market might drive, construction right now is incredibly expensive, but, and then the zoning process is still challenging, but at least now it would be legal. You're allowed to build multifamily homes, so we'll see. I don't think people are gonna be knocking down the doors to do that. Land is still expensive here, but it would open up the opportunity, which,
Somebody may grab it.
somebody,
Yeah.
so we'll see. So, keeping an eye on the housing market is something that, is always, I think, of interest, not just to the housing commission, but economic development, because it's an indicator of how things are going. The newsletter, I just leave that on there as a standard. The next due date is May 10th for the June 1st issue. So that will be coming up. I'll be sending out reminders shortly for that. The Arts Council continues to meet and has been very busy. working hard on the restaurant week, which is on the agenda. We'll talk a little bit more about that then. As well as, working on the cultural district application, supporting some of our other nonprofit, we have a lot of arts nonprofits with events, coming up. And actually, this might be an opportunity for Fran. Fran has organized a fundraiser book talk for the Arts Council, with a book that I think sounds fascinating. Do you want to share a bit about that, Fran?
Yeah, the book is called 14 Days. It's edited by Margaret Atwood. During COVID, 36 authors participated in writing this book. It's a novel. None of them are specifically identified as to what they wrote in the book. But on May 24th at 4:00 at Judy Black, 3 of the authors, Roxana Robinson, Mary Pope Osborne, and Rachel Vare, and we'll be talking about the process that they used in writing the book and just their whole experience of it. And Alyssa Altman, another author, will be the moderator of the talk. The whole concept is extremely interesting and fun, and the admission to the event is the price of the book, which is $32. And Hickory Stick will be contributing $10 for each book sold to the Arts Council.
Thank you, Fran. Yeah, we're looking forward. It sounds like an amazing book. I'm excited to hear about it and really generous of Fran to organize this. So that is the Friday of the Memorial Day weekend. So to sort of kick off the weekend's activities. So thank you, Fran, for sharing that. Affordable housing. So the Housing Commission is continuing their work. They have a significant request for a transfer of money to the fund for this upcoming budget process. And that is important seed money in getting some projects off the ground in pre-development. So it's just important that I think that it's important for the community to come out and hear about the budget and vote if you live here in town. Sorry, Rudy, but you should vote in your town on your budget, right? So everybody should be active.
Oh, yeah, no,
And
you're
learn
right.
about your own budget, right? It's never, it always amazes me when we pass, the budget for the year with a room of like 12 people. So
Yeah,
I always encourage getting involved, but I think this money going into the Affordable Housing Fund is really important. If we're ever gonna make progress on some of these goals, we really need to get some pre-development money in there so that we can make some headway. So that's what the Affordable Housing Commission has been working on, as well as joining with Habitat for Humanity for a home dedication, which is going to be happening in June. So I'll tell you more about that in May. We're just still working on details. Sustainability Committee. It's exciting. Earth Day is this Saturday. Hopefully people will be able to come down at Judy Black Park from 10 to 2. Steve Rock will be there. The Sustainability Committee will be there. Some Chippewa students with their senior projects that are related to the environment will be there, as well as the Environmental Council. I might be forgetting someone. Or also the Sustainability Committee, it has sponsored water testing for your home. You can come pick up a bottle, drive home, get your sample, bring it back, and they'll take it to the lab. So the lab's down in Newtown, so this saves you the trip down to Newtown, and then the results of the test will be mailed to you. And because it's an event, they were able to negotiate a lower rate, and the Environmental Council is contributing, I forget, $15 maybe to the first 25 people who come. So anyway,
that sounds really good. I'm head of the water company out of Arrow
oh,
Point.
that's right, we've talked about that, yeah.
And I think that would be something I'd like to tell all the residents about.
Sure,
So can I, maybe afterwards. we
Yes,
can
and I
talk.
have a flyer that I
You
can
do?
share,
Oh.
yes, I'll give you a flyer and
Flyer,
I can
absolutely.
email it to you, cause I made it, so, anyway, so the water testing, it's interesting, it's kind of twofold, it's always good to test your water every so often, just to make sure that it's still safe.
Yeah,
But we're also monitoring, sodium, road salt in the water table, because it has been noticed that some home wells are being contaminated with salt, but until we start gathering the evidence, we don't really know if it's a widespread problem or not. And the Sustainability Committee is also testing the rivers periodically to see if it's, to get baseline data, but then also testing in the winter to see if the road salt's getting into the water there. So we're looking at wells and we're looking at the river, the runoff water. Just-
EPA is also pushing to have lead and copper testing on the water systems, all of them,
All of
all
them.
community water supply companies.
Yeah, it's interesting. So most people here are on a well system, and it's the basic test that they're doing, and it's like 15 things they're testing for, but I don't remember if lead and copper are two of them. They probably are, and it's listed on the flyer, but I don't remember.
And bacteria is a big one.
Yeah, the E. coli, I know, and the sodium and the chloride and magnesium, but quite a few things. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Minerals are good. They are very
Yes,
good.
no, some are
Yeah.
good, as long as they're not outside the healthy range.
Yeah.
So, also, big part of the Earth Day event is the roadside cleanup. Hopefully, everybody is participating. Trash, it has been sitting there all winter, and, so organizations and individuals will be out on the roads. Please, as motorists, watch for them, people out picking up trash. The dumpster will be out in front of town hall, or I think it comes tomorrow maybe, or the next day. So feel free to bring the trash there, and if you find stuff that you can't move or the bags are too heavy, send me an email, and, Jim has offered to help with one of the highway trucks, and we'll go get it on Monday. So that's the news for that. Sustainability Committee also put together a newsletter, an Earth Day newsletter, which should be in the mailboxes, by this weekend in time, and it's full of data about things happening here in Washington, and then just some in general, good practices, for your lawn and pesticide or, you know, and recycling and all of that. So busy, committee there. The only other thing I wanted to talk about was that I did attend the tourism conference, couple weeks ago. Fascinating, just to see all that the state is working on. And I have actually the Office of Tourism's strategic plan open on my computer. It's 56 pages, so I don't think we'll go over it. I might share, we'll see how we feel. Maybe we'll, at the end of the agenda, if we feel like looking at it, we can. But I was taking a look at it, and I think there are some good strategies and plans that we can scale down to kind of use for ourselves, because they have the best of the best working on this. So they kind of talk about their efforts and social media versus print, and their strategies for getting in front of the viewers. So I thought that was interesting. Something I picked up, which unfortunately I spilled water on, so it's all crinkly, but was this map, and I'm thinking it's intended to go in the, at the welcome centers on the interstate. So here, I'll hold it up here. I forget, it's here. So it's a full page like this. And on the back side, it's got the towns and then some QR codes for, activities. What I was fascinated by, though, is it's a map, you know, what do we have, 169 towns in Connecticut, and it looks like only about 20 are highlighted, and Washington is one of them. And if you look at the northwest corner, hold it up like this. If you look at the northwest corner, we've got the Mayflower, Lake Warmug, and Spring Hill Vineyards. Here is this highlighted on this map.
Yeah.
which for a tiny little town like us, that's pretty remarkable. These institutions have helped put us on the map. So when people pick this up, you know, that they've got Litchfield, they have Washington. And that's it for all of the northwest corner. Those are the only two towns listed. The next closest one, oh, Kent, for the northwest, they have Kent and Norfolk. It wasn't on the, it says Kent Falls here, it doesn't, it wasn't highlighted. So anyway, some pretty good shout outs there, on CT Visit and
What is
the,
it? Can
you
see?
can take a look at that, yeah. They just had them out at the conference, so I picked up one thinking they would talk about how they were gonna use that, and they didn't really talk about it, but I'm assuming it's gonna be at the welcome centers.
They pin everything. It's all pinned on the map as to all these great places you can go to.
Yeah, and three of them are in Washington.
Distillery. Oh, yeah, this is very clever.
It is, and if you turn it over,
And you said something really interesting. Can you scale things down and take the counties around the area?
Oh,
like
and
Kent,
use it?
and do the same concept?
you know, I was
That
on,
would be a cool.
I was
thing to
on
do,
the
too.
Office of Tourism's website, and I could reach out to them, because they have like, banks of photos that you can request to use, so I maybe could get permission to use that. Interestingly enough, I do have a meeting tomorrow with Rista, who is the, economic development person for the Northwest, Council of Governments, the COG. With her and two other people, Steph Burr from the Northwest Arts Council, and I think the new economic development person in Torrington. Anyway, we were all at this conference, and so we're gonna meet to talk about how we can take some of this and really collaborate and highlight the northwest corner, and because we don't have highways running through us, so I'll see where that conversation goes. I also participate in the Western Connecticut Tourism Board, which Fran also does or did. Do you still go to those?
Yeah,
Fran?
no, I'm
No.
no longer.
Yeah. They've kind of transferred leadership. Anyway, it's interesting just to see what the state is doing. I shared some of the data with you last month about the money that is spent, the 4.5,
Staggering.
right? The $4.5 million on tourism, but the $17 billion economic impact, right? So
Yeah.
when they look at hotels, restaurants, music venues, entertainment, cultural institutions, the impact of that money is
You put this together with all the towns and everything like you're talking about, you create a book on this where it's a picture book and people can just look through and go, oh, that looks like a great place to go.
right. They're
You
doing
know?
a lot less printing of books.
Yeah,
If you turn it over, you'll see those QR codes.
yeah,
And you can scan that with your phone and you can
That's a
bring
good
up
idea, too.
itineraries based on your interests. Also, they really direct people back to CT Visit. And we're really well represented on CT Visit because Sandor Max does such a great job. They
yeah.
keep our account, Washington's account on CT Visit populated with pictures. And CT Visit is always picking those up and sharing them.
This is
So,
great. This is really good PR for everything that
is.
you're doing.
Yeah. So, you know what, that is, I think, a good segue into the next topic on the agenda, which I wanted to talk to you all about, just the budget process. So April 1st, yeah, so since our last meeting, April 1st, the selectmen presented their budget to the Board of Finance. And I'm happy to report that all of our requests, the Economic Development Committee's requests for the different accounts and our projects and things were moved forward. My request for benefits was not, and that's sad, but that's all right. We'll carry on, but I do want the committee to know that the Explore website was talked about a lot. and the expenditure that we make for Explore. And what's interesting, and I think we as the EDC really need to think this year about how we explain the importance of that, of that website, because to some people, especially on the Board of Finance, it feels like it's really just to benefit the businesses, which it does greatly benefit the businesses. However, it also benefits all of the nonprofits that post their events there as well. And for all, the events calendar is such a resource for all the residents, right? It's where you can go to find out what's happening at the library, anywhere. I mean, it's my first go-to. When I was talking with Lisa, and I know that the WBA spoke about this, that the tourism traffic that we get, I'll call it tourism, you know, that sometimes implies, like, we think of resort towns, but I'm thinking of day trippers. I'm thinking of people who live within an hour but want to have a Saturday free, and they decide to come to the farmer's market and have lunch and go to the galleries or something, you know, whatever their day is. They're gonna plan a day and they come here. They come here because they find us because of Explore and the work that they have done. A great example of this is the Explore puts out a monthly newsletter. And if you're not receiving it, you should. Everybody should make sure they sign up for it. And use the way it's formatted, there are two articles, blog articles, a picture, and you can go and read the full blog, and then underneath a bunch of events. And the what month are we? April. The April 1st newsletter, one of the two posts was the Restaurant Week that we're putting together. And it had a link to the Restaurant Week website, which had not been publicized yet. It was live, but nobody knew about it because we were just still building it. And then our signs went out like 3 or 4 days later, but I had Michael, who is doing the website for Restaurant Week, look at it, at the website, to see what kind of traffic we got after that newsletter went out. And 81 people had visited the Restaurant Week website, the page about Washington Restaurant Week, after the Explore newsletter went out, but before anybody else knew where that website was. So it just shows that people are reading that newsletter and are interested enough to actually follow a link to see what this Restaurant Week is all about. And the mailing list that Explore has for their newsletter is larger. I think they're well over 2,000 people. We have close to 1,600 on the selectmen's email, and those are mostly locals, like probably 90%, because it's such a local, you know, it's for people who live here. Whereas the Explore newsletter is also for visitors, and a lot of the people that are on that mailing list are from New York and around, and whether they're weekenders or they're just occasional visitors, they've signed up. So the work that Sandor Max has been doing with Explore is really, really exceptional, and we just need to make sure that we're explaining the importance of that to the health of our businesses, because without a lot of this weekend traffic, they would really be struggling. Like and this first quarter was really slow. January, February, March is always very slow for our businesses, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Some of them kind of wonder if they're going to make it, and they're just, you know, biding their time. So, Fran, did you want to jump in and say anything about that as one of our local businesses?
I mean, I certainly second the first quarter being slow. And I mean, that's traditionally so. I think in many ways, I mean, rain was certainly a factor during the first quarter this year, not snow. I mean, that was an exception rather than the rule, but the rainy weekends and it was, as you said, the first quarter was very challenging. In terms of just overall, in terms of Explore, I mean, yes, the businesses, but the nonprofits are a huge part of the cultural community of Washington. And Explore does a very good job of supporting them. And there's a synergism, obviously, among all the entities, whether it's the schools, the private schools, the cultural activities, the other activities, and the businesses, which I think make part of are a huge benefit to Washington in general, and make it the attractive place that it is.
Right, thank you. I forgot about the schools. When I was thinking of nonprofits, I was thinking about our cultural institutions, but for the schools as well.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it also helps to bring students to the schools.
Absolutely. And as Wayne, who I wish he were here, but Wayne from planning will tell you, education is the business of our town. Our largest employers are the school, when you put them together, our schools. It's not just Region 12, but it's also our private schools. And we have 5 schools in our town, or a town this small. It's quite remarkable. And their success is important to the success of Washington, because we have teachers and administrators, nurses and coaches. You know, each of those schools employs quite a number of people besides educating our children. So it's important that we help to keep them healthy as well. So thank you for reminding me of that, Fran. So anyway, we just need to think about how to make sure that we're communicating the goals of the EDC and what we're trying to do with Explore and its importance in our community, because that doesn't seem to be clear to at least the Board of Finance and maybe more of the community. I didn't hear other comments. And on that note, I think we're due next month for our next report from Sandor Max on how Explorer is doing. We do that every 6 months. We get an update on the metrics of the performance of the website. So, and they have started adding a new tab in the press, I think, so that as a place to archive all of the mentions that we've been getting whenever Washington comes up as one of the best small towns or best places to visit in the fall, whatever it is, all the best of lists. Every time we get published, we're going to start archiving them there, because it happens, and it's nice to be able to refer people back to that. So we'll hear more about that next month. So the next step, on Monday, last night, the Board of Finance approved the selectmen's proposed budget, so that'll go to a hearing May 2nd, and then the vote will be May 15th. So it would behoove people to come to make sure that if there are more questions about Explore, I mean, I will be there, and my intention is to be there, but anyway, it's always good to make sure we shepherd our goals through the budget process.
I think Washington leads the pack on getting their budget done, because I think Warren's still working on it.
Maybe, I thought it was state statute that they all have to be approved by May. I don't know what everyone's
I
process
think you're right,
is.
but I think you guys Washington's done, right?
Well, yeah, Board of Finance just voted last
just
night to
voted,
move it
yeah.
forward. And then because we're part of a regional school district, then there's the budget referendum for the school budget, which is a part of the town budget. But it's a part that we just,
The
have to
subset
just-
of the town budget.
yeah. But we don't have a
But
say in that.
important part, it's a huge piece of
Huge.
the pie.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Forget what percentage, it used to be half, but I don't think it is anymore, but anyway, it's a large portion. All right, any questions about the budget or the process moving forward? No? All right, so next on the agenda, Restaurant Week. All right, hopefully you've seen the yard signs went out, I think, a few days ago. They look like this, right? They're set.
there's some at the intersection.
Yeah, there's one at every restaurant, and then a couple around town, and then a couple just outside of town, like at the end of 109 down in New Milford. Maybe 109 towards Morris. Forget where, 47 out towards Woodbury, so sort of on the surrounding towns. And then there's flyers that look like this in all of the restaurants. There's one at the market. I'm pretty sure I got one at the market. Few around town, and it's also been advertised in the selectmen's email. But what's also exciting is, it's on CT Visit. I checked Sandra Rex helped us get, so it's on CT Visit. It is also went out in the Northwest Connecticut Arts Council's mailing, monthly or weekly mailing that they do, because of the arts tie-in, so that was really exciting. Zoe from the pantry was on Channel 3 News last week, I think it was last week, last Thursday maybe, in the morning to do a little cooking segment to highlight Washington Restaurant Week. And clips of that are supposed to be shared. I haven't seen it yet, but we're gonna share that on social media. There's social media posts going out all this week. And I'm trying to think of the other, a press release was sent in, so it's out there. So now we just have to hope all goes well. We have some really amazing arts things happening as well in tie-in to this. We have a film happening on Sunday, which is The Art of Eating. It's a documentary about MFK Fisher, who was a food writer. So I think that's a really nice tie-in of the food and the arts, but we have arts happening, plays, concerts, music in some of the restaurants, art on the walls of some of the restaurants being highlighted.
Is there a
So,
calendar?
yes, so it's all on the website.
It's on the website? So
Yes.
when you hit the QR code, is that?
If you go to the QR code,
Yeah.
yep, you know what? And I'm happy to, I just want to show you how it's laid out because it is actually, I think, pretty remarkable. And this is what, I should have brought this up for you all as well.
Nice.
Yeah, let me share, I know,
Oh,
right,
like
isn't that great?
Let's eat. Let's eat.
Let me share it with the
That's
people
great.
online. Where'd it go? Here it is. All right, are you guys seeing? Let's see.
Yeah. Just have to expand on it.
Yeah, okay.
There we
You guys
go.
see this
Mhm.
online? Okay, so here's Washington Restaurant Week. So if you go to litchfield.co, this is the website, and the first thing that you come up to is Washington's Restaurant Week. And if you
This is
enter
great.
it, it's pretty remarkable. And
That
what's
is
so
cool.
exciting, we last met, we have 100% participation from our restaurants, which
That
is
really
fantastic.
good.
So
Yeah.
the whole event, it was co-sponsored by the Business Association, the EDC, and the Arts Council. So that's why we're the 3 top billings here.
Oh, this is really.
As
nice.
you scroll, so the restaurants, the arts, and then the prizes, but you can just scroll down.
Well, they
and-
did a beautiful job of this.
Yeah, it's amazing. So every restaurant is listed here. You can go to their special menu to
That's
see
cool.
what they're offering. And then what they have, their live music is highlighted, or the art on the walls at Hopkins. So what they're doing is highlighted there for them. Mayflower put together a really nice prefix menu
Cool.
for their dinner and for lunch.
Go to.
Yep, everybody,
Everybody? Yeah.
everybody.
White Horse?
Pizza House, everybody.
Pizza
And then,
House,
so if
yeah.
you keep going, you get to the galleries. And you can see each of the events that are happening at the galleries and their hours of operation. So if you're trying to plan your day, you can figure out how to do that. There's a calendar here below. So like
Yeah.
on Saturday, Earth Day,
Oh, that's great.
we've got music,
Yeah.
exhibits, the art opening here on Sunday. We have the film, there's a concert. See, there's a play that needs to get added. I gotta double check with him on that. But
When
anyway,
you click on those, will they
Each-
actually give you a little picture over in the side?
no, I don't
No?
think these are linked. If you
Oh,
want
right.
more details on each event, there was so much. So if you want more details on each event, you have to
You have
go,
to go to the site.
you have to go to, or go back to Explore.
Yeah,
But here's the other
look
thing.
at that. That's great.
These are, everybody gave gift certificates. So if you go to any of these restaurants during this week, you can, all you have to do, there's a little form here, you take a picture of your receipt and you send it in with your name and number. and you'll be entered in the drawing for these. And so 6 people will win
Gift cards,
gift cards, each of these packages is pretty amazing.
yeah,
So each one's worth around $200.
that is pretty good.
Yeah,
It's really
right?
good.
Right.
That's cool,
So
actually.
great prizes, a lot of great
Yeah.
events. All the restaurants are participating, so
There ought to be a lot of attendance. to
I
this.
hope
How
so.
do you gauge what that is?
That's a good question. So, and that as an EDC, you know, at the end of the week, I want to touch base with all the restaurants and just ask them, how did it go? What are your, you know, did you see an increase in traffic? Were people enthusiastic? They'll have a sense. They'll know whether their sales went up or not, or whether people from out of town came or not. So,
That'll
it
be a
will-
big impact.
we're
Yeah,
hoping, because
I'm hoping.
it's still slow, so we're hoping that this will help kick off the season. Because once May comes, things start getting busier, but,
Yeah.
we're very hopeful. It looks,
looks
you know,
pretty good.
everything's here, we just need now the people to come. It's like when you're hosting a party and you're like standing there wondering if anyone will come. Right, that's where we are, that's the point we're in right
Oh,
now.
please come.
Please I'm hoping people do, because I think I was really impressed with the restaurants. They put a lot of time into their special menus. They came up with new items that they've never done before, or some different pricing, it's an opportunity to try something that you maybe haven't before. So I hope,
Do they take metrics as to number of clicks and all that on
Yes.
this? They do, so you'll get metrics from
yes,
that?
that's how I knew
Yeah.
81 people went to it.
Yeah,
After the only mention to the website was in the Explore newsletter. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Good.
he will keep those metrics for us, and we'll get a report back on that. Actually, that's good. I should have that ready for next month. Just reports, the clicks and stuff, because it was too much information to put on a sign. So people really will need to go to the
Go a
website.
step further.
They need to
Yeah.
go to the website to see what's
See
going on.
what's
I
going
mean,
on. Not
there's
while
a
they're
sign,
driving.
there's a sign in front of every restaurant. So the low key thing to do, the easiest is to just show up at your favorite restaurant and see what their specials were. But if you really wanted to plan, if you're from out of town, you could dive in deeper, look at all the restaurants, look at the
That's why the calendar,
activities.
because a lot of people will be coming from out of town that wanna
Right,
plan.
so
their day.
that's
Yeah.
hopefully that's the plan. Like, we were hoping then if they drive all the way here, that they'll make an afternoon or an evening of it and go to one of these plays or concerts and then go to
Exactly.
dinner, or vice versa. So fingers crossed. Yeah. Does anyone have questions before I stop the sharing? Does anyone have questions about Restaurant Week and the website that we have here?
That's pretty cool, though. Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
he did a great job with the website,
Yeah.
and it was Michael who visited us, I think, a meeting or two ago to pitch the idea.
Yeah,
He's the one who got Zoe on the news. He had the connections at the channel, you know, to do this little cooking demonstration, and did the footwork. You know, I made introductions, but he chased down all the menus and got them uploaded. Like, there's a lot of legwork in putting this all together. So, Michael did a really great job with that.
did anything like a blurb go out in the local paper, the regular flyer paper?
You mean like newspaper?
No, just the little flyers that they send out, the Connecticut, the different local papers.
Well, so I sent a press release to Voices. We'll see if they ran it. It was definitely mentioned in articles from the EDC and was there an Arts Council article? I feel like there was an EDC one. I know, I'm looking at Anne here because she's our reporter. It was mentioned, I think, in the EDC in last meeting, in the article about our last meeting. So it was there. We did not buy an ad because we had already used the advertising budget on printing of signs and building of the website and the social media posts that are gonna happen, so we'll see. If it was low news week, they might run the press release. We'll see.
The signs were strategically placed, though. You put them around, the town and Washington and the intersections.
And the intersection, yeah.
Which is good.
Well, yes, hopefully
those
people
stuff
see
should
them
be
and
good.
will respond, I hope. I hope that was the idea. So that's, yeah, so please, everybody, attend, go, make it a night out, an afternoon, whatever it is. But make sure you visit our restaurants and our art institutions this week, or this upcoming week. And, we'll talk about the feedback next month, see how it went. Encourage your friends to go too. Any other questions about restaurant week? All right,
Nice work.
thank you.
Yeah.
Fran?
I'd just like to make a comment about how terrific I think it is, the coalescing of the EDC, the Arts Association, and the WBA, and putting this together in a relatively short period of time, and the professionalism that it exhibits. Good job, everyone.
Thanks, Fran. Thanks, Fran. It's funny that the little committee we put together of myself and Zoe of the restaurants of the WBA and Victoria from the Arts Council, we met with Michael every 2 weeks. And he was very patient. The three of us can just just chatting. Cause we're just all very excited about what we do and what we are very passionate about it. So he was very, very patient and wonderful to work with. So thank you. And thanks, Fran. I'm excited too. I think it's a great partnership. I think it shows because we're so small, the coming together of those three groups gave us some critical mass to work with. So thanks. I forgot to put on the agenda, but I think it sort of leads into report of the WBA. The next big event in town is the block party, which is happening June 7th. And we usually set up a table to just let people know what we do and collect emails for the selectmen's email. And if we would like to do that again, we can coordinate that. We will have a meeting in May to talk about that, but we should, if we think that's a good idea, it'll be helpful for me to start planning now. And we can think about if there's any kind of way to freshen that up, or thoughts on it at all. Anyone?
I ran into Liz this morning and she said something about the WBA's website being updated to have stuff about the block party, and I couldn't find it. So
Okay.
I don't know if it hasn't posted yet or I wasn't looking in the right place.
Yeah, the WBA website, I mean, there is a committee working on it, so I haven't looked at it recently, but there certainly will be information there as well
Okay.
as in many other places, but
Yeah, usually if you're looking to participate, usually an email will go out a couple weeks before the event, but so usually you need to start planning before then, but for the table sign
Well,
up.
sure. But she was just like, hey, it's up and you should check it out. If you want to be part of it, go blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And I went and I was like, what? So
okay,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll pass, the information on. We have a meeting tomorrow morning, but I'll pass it on just for you particularly, Robin, so
okay,
that you're sure to be contacted.
great. Thanks.
So if you do have a meeting tomorrow about it, I was on there, and there was a new business coming to town. They were registering their name with the town clerk, so she walked them upstairs to my office. So I welcomed them to town and gave them a copy of the guidebook and talked about all the different ways we can help them get the word out. And I suggested they join the WBA and that they are present at the block party, because I think so their business is forget what it's called. It's like Litchfield Lux or something, but it's organizing sleepover parties for kids, and they have these little tents and they'll come and set up like a little teepee tent, do a whole party for the kids. And I'm like, oh, well, that would be kind of a fun thing to set up for the block party. If you have things that the kids could play with and people would see who you are, and summer's coming, it's perfect. Anyway, so I went on the website though, and for the WBA, I think it's still got like Holiday in the Depot as the event. Like some of it needs to be updated. So I'll look again. I think this was last week when I was looking at it, but hopefully the block party will be up there soon.
As I said, there is a committee that's been formed to
Yeah.
put, to do what's needed to be done on the website.
Good, good. So yeah, so that's my only, that's the next big thing coming up for us. So we can think about being present and how and when and where we want to do that. Fran, do you have more to share from the WBA?
Don't have anything more to share, but one of the things that you mentioned in terms of being able to get sales, we will be bringing back the welcome bags. I mean, for many years, the WBA put together welcome bags for new homeowners. We have the burlap bags that, will be the vehicle, and we'll be soliciting, organizations, businesses, whatever, for, items to put in the bag.
Great, great.
And
now
also looking for ways to deliver them.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm happy
ideally,
to-
it's the real estate agents, but in the past, it was just, it was hard to get, the sales are certainly quite modest at this point, so that should be fairly easy to figure out a way to get them delivered.
I agree. And I had Sheila helping me because people will come into town hall to pick up their recycling bucket or to figure something out, registering something, their dog, so we had some people here in town handing them out. And I had been bringing them to the real estate offices. I actually spoke with Jim Kelly too, who's a lawyer in town who's on a lot of the closings, because that's kind of when, once the real estate, we'll figure it out. If it's only 3 or 4 a month, heck, I could just deliver them. But right, post-COVID, we were having 15 to 20 a month, and that's a lot to keep up with, so.
Well, at that point, we weren't putting them together either.
Yeah.
There were other things on our minds.
Right. Which reminds me though, the Housing Commission was very appreciative and excited that we'll have 3 bags for the new Habitat homeowners to present at the June home dedication, so. That's very nice, and I think a great look for the WBA to participate with the welcome bags, so. That's appreciated.
Hey, Michelle,
Yeah.
when, is there a deadline for the summer schedule postcard?
Oh,
And when would you need that info?
I brought it to remind myself to talk about it because I had forgotten to put that on the agenda as well. Thank you. So
We're here to help.
I know, so it is time for the summer postcard. This was last year's. And I've been in contact with Julia at Sandor Max. She knows we're gonna start working on it. Our goal is to be in the mailboxes by June as well. We usually shoot for June since that's when things start happening. And the block party is usually the first thing going on there. So mid-May, this one is easier. The turnaround is quicker than the newsletter because the design, we do the design. So I just have to get it to the post office. But I think last time I wanted to make sure it was not going out like at the same time as the newsletter. So I think I did the postcard like a little bit earlier. So yeah, we have about 3 weeks, 4 weeks to turn this around. I'll be sending emails for this as well. So what I plan to do is just go through everything that was on last year, look on Explore, verify all the new dates. If anybody is not on Explore that was on here last year, I'll reach out to them to see if they're planning to have their event. Last year there was no Shakespeare, and this year there will be, I know that. So yeah, the outreach on this will be happening in the next few weeks. I know you're usually keeping an eye on Music on the Green, which is on here, so I'm sure it's on here somewhere.
It was.
Yep, oh, there, it's because it starts in June. Yeah, that's an earlier one, so it was like the 4th thing. Yep. So, yes,
Cool.
thank you. And thanks for reminding me too. So that reminds me, as we were talking about the budget. So we have the postcard to go out. And we have a little bit of money left in our budget for this fiscal year. Last year I bought some pedestrian signs. I'll look into that again because those got wrecked, but we're thinking of a new strategy for that. Julia and I were talking about the need for some new, fresh photographs for the Explore site and for any of the articles that we do. So we were discussing engaging a professional photographer to come and to take some professional photos that to use on the website and on any of the productions that we do. But I got a quote for a lot more money than we have in our budget from somebody she was working with on another project. So I need to follow up on that and maybe see if I can find somebody local. But this was the one thing that we don't have great pictures of is like the quintessential downtown shopping experience. And I think part of it is the way we're laid out. Part of it, we don't have sort of that long green with all the storefronts, the New England green, or all the old stores that were lining 47 were all taken out in the flood and now they're all moved back off the road. So New Preston has a couple of nice places, but the cars are always in the way. So the only way to really get nice photos is at like 6 a.m. But then it looks dead because there's no people, so we would need to stage it. And this is stuff Julia and I have talked about how to try to
You
get.
don't wanna do those cutouts that you set up.
I know, right? Well, so I might be calling on the EDC, we were gonna try to schedule a photo shoot like at early morning so that we can get a nice picture, you get your Washington bag and you're walking or a cup of coffee, whatever it is as if you're strolling and shopping and chatting with friends, but without all the cars there so that we can get a nice photo. But it's too early in the season. We need the window boxes to be planted with the flowers and the hanging baskets and all of that. We're not looking pretty yet. So I'll keep you posted on that. It's just something we're thinking about. I'm gonna probably have to, I was excited. The person she was working with sent me the website and the books that they've done, and it was stunning and beautiful. But would have been, I forget what the quote was, it's over $3,000 to schedule. It was a lot of work, but it was like 2 full day shoots in the spring and then coming back in the winter to get the winter lights, which is really tricky. I've tried, but getting nighttime photos that highlight the lights in the trees without the street lights washing it out, it's hard. It takes a professional. So I'll keep working on that and I'll keep you posted. But those pictures are really important because that's what gets populated to CT Visit and beyond, right? And magazines, they're always contacting Julia. They're, every time we're up for one of these best small towns, they ask for photos and Julia has a folder that she sends them. And so we need to refresh some of that. We have amazing nature photos, and the contest that we ran last year helped us really populate that, the Thoreau Bridge and Steep Rock and views of Lake Warmug from the rock and all of that. We have beautiful nature photos, but the shopping restaurant ones we got to work on, and it takes talent. So I'll keep you posted. It looks like Jim had to leave. I'm trying to think of what he would have reported on. I don't know. He's been working on bridges. I keep seeing him just at budget meetings. It's been budget stuff. The Lake Warmug survey conversation is happening here
6 p.m.
tomorrow, I think.
So, yeah.
Here at Town Hall. So that should be interesting. I'm not sure what else he's been working on.
I think there's also the patrolling by the Lake Warmug Authority on the lake that they're gonna do, that they are actually gonna have the boat out there.
Yeah.
I'm a weed inspector.
Good job. Good
So-
job. Somebody's gotta do it.
So they'll be looking out for what type of boats that are gonna be going out, especially if they flood the tanks or the wake boats.
Right. Well, those invasives, what is the,
The invasives that we check for.
Yeah.
Stem to stern.
yeah, it's important.
It is.
It is to keep the lake healthy. Yeah, so I know that that's something they've been working on, a couple of bridges, the ambulance building, I think, they just approved to go out to bid for a project manager for the ambulance building, I believe. I think that's it for selectmen. Do we have any other business to come before the committee today? No? Feeling good?
I have a
Alright.
random question though.
Sure.
Where did ASAP move? Cause they
They
left the depot, right?
No, they're still there.
No?
That was
Oh.
an attorney's, that was a lawyer's office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ASAP is still there.
Upstairs. Their offices are upstairs and the first floor is available for
Okay.
rent.
Cause like, I didn't see nothing. I looked it up. It didn't say anything.
Yeah, no, they're still here. They're still local.
Good.
Yeah, I know. We usually talk about new business. I have nothing to report. I haven't seen any movement or heard anything about the Fleming's restaurant. I know that there were a couple of people looking to purchase Fleming's, but I don't know if those fell through. And the space next to it is empty and everything else I think is full and not moving as far as I know.
I thought it was exciting that Depot Dog is opening a second location in Litchfield.
Yes. I hope. Yeah, it's exciting. I worry. I mean, yeah, it's a lot.
Right, yes.
To fight off, yes. And Favorite, which was in the depot and is now in New Preston, I know her business was for sale. She wanted to sell the business, but was staying in place. I don't know if she's,
It has been sold. It was posted sometime last week. I mean,
Okay.
she said she would announce the new owner soon.
oh,
But-
great. I saw a post that said like,
No,
yeah,
that
was
had been
cryptic, right?
previously, but it has been announced that it has been sold and would stay in place.
great. That's wonderful. I think, that is great.
I also heard Stella Rose is trying to expand to some building across the street. Like, I don't, like 1 or 2 doors down from the White Horse. They keep saying it's the one that's fallen into the river. I don't know what that means necessarily, but
Oh, I want to talk to them. Thank you for sharing that with me because that building, I know it's the one right on the corner. I'm thinking. And, it has a challenge because it is right on the river and doesn't have a septic. So it's got that, but it's such a cute historic building and it's really the gateway to Marbledale there. So,
well, she's excited because she has septic in her place and whatever the other thing was, and she's thinking to move in like men's stuff over there because if they do need a restroom, they can go across the street back to her original location, blah blah blah. So
that is
I hope I'm not
fantastic.
speaking out of turn,
No, I'm
but
gonna reach out. I have her business card somewhere. Do you remember her name? I'm gonna reach out to her.
is it Therese? I don't know. I can find out.
Okay. That's wonderful because that building is falling apart and I would love for something to happen to it. I don't want it to become more of an eyesore. And I saw a sign go on it, but like property management, I didn't know if it was gonna be sold, so I'll talk to her.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And if anybody
Oh, you
hears
bet.
anything about, the Flemings and, vacant space on Beaver, let me know. All right, well, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Rudy, all right. Second? Thank you, Liz. I was like, are we not gonna adjourn? No, we're gonna all adjourn. Excellent. 4:02. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Enjoy this lovely afternoon and let me know if you ever need anything. All right?